He is Bishop Ron Allen, the President and CEO of the International Faith-Based Coalition. He is an established leader in the Sacramento community. In 2010, he was a leading figure in the campaign against legalizing marijuana. The California Narcotics Officers Association honored Bishop Allen with a Citizen of the Year award in 2011. In the following clip, he makes a passionate call to unite the community after the tragic shooting which took the life of Monique Nelson in December of 2010.
There was a time in this nation, there was a time in this world to where faith-based leaders completely understood this one major thing, that we were not only the protectors of our congregation, but we were the protectors of our community. It didn't matter the creed or the color.
Hello, I'm Henry Harry, and this is Our Global Voice Television, and I'm here with Dr. Ron Allen, and he's going to talk to us about two important topics today. One is going to be crime, and the other one is going to be about drugs and what he's been doing to combat drugs, particularly marijuana in America. Dr. Allen, thank you for letting me interview you today.
We're so glad to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, let's get into this because I know that your time is tight. Let's focus on crime, which you and I have talked about in the past before, and then we're going to jump into drugs. Okay, when I say crime in the black community, what are the things that come to your mind?
You know, when I think about crime in the black community, my heart goes out. I'm saddened by the violence that we have to deal with in the black community, the murders we have to deal with in the black community. One great example are the murders that we have to deal with every single day, day in and day out in the black community. We are 13% of the United States population. We had 16,500 murder victims in 2005. 8,000 of those murder victims were black. But that's not the downside on this thing. Of course, that's almost 49%. But what hurts me the most is that 93% of those 8,000 murders were black on black crime. Blacks killing blacks. We have to stop that. We are eliminating ourselves. And so when I think of black crime, what is it that we can absolutely do to curtail, make this not happen, that will help us move to the next level and stop killing ourselves?
What do you think is driving crime among black youth? And in particular, why is there so much violence? You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Our black youth are unable to find jobs. Number one, there are not many males, black males, in the house anymore. Role models, where are the role models at? Unfortunately, our role models are not sports players. It's not the football players. It's not the basketball players. Where are the real models at? So our youth are bored. They seem to not have much to do anymore. And so crime seems to be their pastime at this point. We need models. We need great role models. We need our black males to find a way to stay out of prison so that there could be a family unit. And without a foundation, without great parents, without a great father figure, a black mentor, we're finding that the violence is increasing in our underserved communities among our youth.
We know there's violence. Do you think our youth are becoming more violent, more guns, more savage in the carnage that is out there? And if you think that they are more violent, what's driving that aspect of it? Why do kids not fist fight versus so quick to pick up a weapon?
It is more savage. It is more violent. Our youth are more desperate right now. They're frustrated. They're crying out. There's no help for them. And so, out of their frustration, they're picking up guns. They're murdering each other. 90%, as we forestated, black on black crime. Yes, fist fighting is not the answer for them anymore. It seems as if they want to kill something now. And so they are, each other.
Oh, I'll add to that just a theory. And I've said this at forums before. My theory is that there's a small percentage of young men, particularly in the African American community, that they force the other young men to be violent. Meaning that if you've got, say, 5 out of 100 kids in a neighborhood that are violent, when other young men approach them, or there's a conflict, the other young men know this guy's known for possessing weapons and for beating people down viciously. I've got to come with the same level. If I know that the 3 kids on the corner are armed or part of a gang, I've got to be just as strong, just as vicious. And so my thinking today is when these young folks approach a fight, it's all or nothing for them. They believe that the other person is all or nothing for them, and so they know it's got to be all or nothing. And so I think that's why so many of our kids are arming themselves. And the fight is just not a fist fight anymore. Each side thinks the other person is coming to destroy them. I've got to be prepared for war. So I've got to be armed. I've got to be vicious. I've got to take on anyone that attacks me because I have a reputation to be maintained. And if I'm known for being weak, I'm going to be picked on. It's just a theory.
I think the theory is absolute, right on. Our youth are in danger. Our black youth. The black nation is not increasing in numbers. We are decreasing in numbers. And it's a desperate situation when our black youth can't find jobs, when our black youth cannot find training, job training, and the last resort seems to be violent, gang violence across this nation, and their approach, their thinking is it's all or nothing. And I've talked to some black youth, and they truly believe that they would rather die than live in a world like this. And that's an amazing thought that's coming from someone that's 14 to 25 years old, and that they have to protect themselves now at every cost, no matter what race, creed, or color that individual might be. Our youth are in trouble, and we're not the only ones that know they're in trouble, the adults. The youth understand that they're in trouble. And their thinking is just amazing to me. All or nothing.
What would you like to see out there in terms of a program or action that is not in play right now? Something that you'd like to see happen?
You know, I've searched my mind, thought about what could we do differently. Einstein said, doing the same thing, expecting different results, is insanity. And we absolutely must do something different to save our youth. We have to try and encourage them to stay in school. The black dropout is absolutely amazing. I think that we have to create within our youth a system that would allow them to move from a level of poverty to a level of excellence. We don't have that in play right now. We need to create a system that would take our black youth, train them for job, skill training, We think we have that, but we don't. It's not working. And so something, Harry, has to happen differently. What would that be? I think that we'll have to sit down and really contemplate and bring something to fruition that would really help our youth, especially our black youth, have a change of mind, feel better about themselves, and make them realize that they are significant in this world. That's not in play.
Okay. You're a black leader. Where have black leaders performed poorly in this crime crisis, and how do we correct that?
Our black leaders have performed poorly in every single area when it comes to civil rights leaders. I think that our civil rights leaders should be ashamed of themselves. Most of our civil rights leaders, not all, but the majority of our civil rights leaders have self-interest, no longer care about the black community, the underserved community. And because of that, we do not have great black civil rights leaders. You ask me, how do we repair this breach? They need to move out of the way, Harry, and allow individuals that absolutely care about the underserved community, absolutely care about the blacks, the Latinos, and the Asians, move into that top position and make determinations that they're going to help us, really help us, and not sell the black nation down the tubes for 30 pieces of silver to further their own personal agenda. Who are these people? We don't know, but we need to raise up black leaders. We just don't have it. We do not have great black leaders in our nation right now.
Let's put something on the record here, because you and I think, both agree that we know people at the local level of the NAACP. We like those folks, and we work with them at the local level. And we need to distinguish that when we're talking about, at least in this conversation, I believe today, that we're talking about the national level and NAACP, the state level. Let's shift topics now, if that's okay with you. Let's talk about drugs in America. A subject that is near and dear to both of us. As a law enforcement officer, I see it on the street and what drugs do to our community. I know you've been working to stop the legalization of marijuana. And just for the record, so everyone understands this, you and I worked together on Proposition 19 in opposition of the passage of the legalization of marijuana, and we won that one. Okay, so we have worked together today. This show here is about a man and his vision and what he's doing on the streets. So I won't, full disclosure, you and I have worked together in the past. Let's start with the first question. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what positions you hold now?
I am the CEO and president and the founder of the International Faith-Based Coalition. We are a drug prevention coalition. My passion about drugs is because of the experience that I've had, crack cocaine. 7 years on crack cocaine. I know the devastation that crack cocaine brings to an underserved community and this nation. And so we are on a serious mission to make sure that our youth and our young adults are educated of the dangers of drugs.
In addition to the International Faith-Based Coalition, what government agencies are you connected to, if you can talk about that, and what efforts are they making?
I'm connected to the HIDAS, High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area, law enforcement. I also work with the Office of National Drug Control Policy. The efforts that they are making, great effort. Also, the Office of the National Office of Narcotics officers. These individuals that are putting their life on the front lines to make sure that drugs stay out of our community are getting a bad rap. I have so many difficult problems with people saying to me very often, "You work for the man." No, I don't work for the man. What man? Because they're white officers that have a concern about the underserved community and this nation? They're doing a great job. Many are killed in the line of duty. And we need to applaud our law enforcement officers for the work that they are doing. We need to applaud the DEA. We need to applaud the FBI. And I know some individuals that are watching this broadcast will disagree with me. But when individuals are willing to put their life on the line for people they do not know, to keep our community safe, we need to stand side by side with these men and women of law enforcement and try to make this thing work out for the good of this nation.
Now, the supporters of Prop 19, and in general, I think some of these people who support the legalization of marijuana, they say that, look, it's going to raise tax revenue for the state, and they say it's going to lower crime. And to that, you say,
raise tax revenue, blood money. Why in the world would the state of California want to legalize a Schedule I illicit drug with the knowledge that it would increase its usage? In fact, to raise that type of money, to raise $1.4 billion in taxes, the Rand Corporation said that marijuana would have to increase 40% to raise that. Well, who in the world is going to use marijuana? Who in the world is that going to target? Where are they going to get that 40%? It's going to be our youth. It has to be new smokers. But not only that, alcohol only brings in $1.8 billion in revenue in the United States. We spend in health care $185 billion. Doesn't make sense. Tobacco brings in a revenue of about $25 billion a year. And we spend almost $200 billion in health care and health costs. It just doesn't make sense. So we want to legalize another drug, and we want to say it's going to bring in revenue. You know what surprises me and what I'm shocked about? I'm always baffled when our lawmakers and law enforcement have the same thinking as the common dope dealer on the streets. What's the common dope dealer's thought? They do not care about the quality of life, only how much money they can make. When our law enforcement and lawmakers have that same thought, mirror the dope dealers' thinking, the common dope dealers' thinking, it floors me.
can you speak to this controversy? And it is this. The states come in and attempt to, or do in fact, legalize marijuana in their state. But they're still in conflict with the federal law that says it's illegal. Can you comment on that?
Once again, whenever our lawmakers are more concerned with the revenue that are coming in and not the quality of life of this nation, our lawmakers are the caretakers of this nation. They absolutely know that there's a conflict with the federal law, the state law. Do they care? No. Why? Because they're looking at the finances, the money. Don't they clearly understand that legalizing an illicit drug will increase the arrest, increase the violence, and the blood money you make off the back of our youth will do no good. It will not help our budget, but it will cause an underserved community to go deeper into degradation.
Prop 19 lost 53.5% to 46.5%. Narrow victory. What lessons were learned from that race?
We learned some great lessons from that race. One of the main lessons that we've learned was that the drug legalizers were very well organized. There are individuals in this world that want to keep this nation high. How in the world do you educate an intoxicated mind? We clearly understand that they're not going to stop. That's a lesson we've learned. We're going to have to beat them handedly this time. And we need the community and this nation to speak up. California spoke up last time and they said, we don't want marijuana legalized in this state. Well, we're going to have to do it again. Proposition 19 was a hard-fought battle. God gave us the victory. But we now understand that these legalized dope dealers, legalized drug pushers, such as the Drug Policy Alliance, LEAP, will never stop until they drag the United States and this nation down the tube high.
Will legalizing marijuana have any effect on this drug trafficking problem between the United States and Mexico?
Yeah, it's going to have an effect on it. It's going to increase it. Listen, the drug cartels are not just a drug trafficking organization. It's a crime organization. It's ridiculous for anyone to think that legalizing dope is going to stop the cartels from coming in. If I was a cartel and United States or California legalized marijuana, that's the place I'm going to come. Yes, it's going to make a difference. It's going to increase the violence in the United States. What we see in Mexico is what we will experience in the United States. And again, our lawmakers know this. They absolutely have the statistics in front of them. Do they care? We'll see.
Okay. I know you're still opposed to the legalization of marijuana. You opposed Proposition 19 in 2010. Direct question. Why?
It's not rocket science. First of all, you can't legalize marijuana on a state level. We say we want to. You can only decriminalize it. Marijuana is a gateway drug. Many people say, well, how is it a gateway drug? It's a gateway drug on two levels. Number one, it introduces our youth to getting high. It breaks the seal of addiction in their mind, in their bodies, and in their spirit. It's the first drug that our youth will most likely try. Number two, we have very rich drug dealers in the likes of the Drug Policy Alliance, LEAP, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, that would love to see marijuana legalized so that they can open the gate to other drugs. Why am I so opposed to it? Anything that's legalized, we absolutely understand that the use of that drug would increase. Pharmaceutical drugs are illegal. Alcohol is illegal. Same numbers apply. Pharmaceutical drugs are legal. The drug czar came out and said that the drug that's killing many people, that many people are overdosing on right now, is pharmaceutical drugs. Go figure. And we think that by legalizing marijuana, the use will not increase. Somebody help my mind to understand that illusionary thinking.
What's next for you in the fight against marijuana and any other ventures that you have?
What's next? We will continue to fight for the youth of this nation. We will continue to fight for the underserved community. We will do all that we can to make sure that no illicit drug is legalized, first of all in the state of California and then across this nation. We are getting ready to take on the drug legalizers again in 2012.